the trucking industry has been in dire straits for 2 decades. There's been a driver shortage. So I think that the pandemic really exacerbated the fact that the country really needs drivers. It brought it to the forefront with the supply chain issues. There just simply wasn't enough drivers. We had people retiring, and we weren't fulfilling it with entry-level drivers.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by Write For Me, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Howard Geller. He's the regional theory instructor for Fleet Force Truck Driving School. Howard, welcome to the show.
Hey everybody.
Excited to have you. So Howard, why don't you start telling me a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name's Howard, and I am the regional theory instructor for Fleet Force, like Kelsey said. I've been truck driving for about 15 years. I was in emergency medicine previous to truck driving. I started my career with an over-the-road trucking company with a family that didn't last very long. I went right into working for a local company. Working for the local company, I stayed with them for quite some time, learned all the facets of the business inside and out, upside and down. And then I got the opportunity to do some instruction. So I went and did some instruction. I really liked it. But the school that I was with didn't really give me the opportunity for advancement, kind of just kept me in the truck, training their students day in, day out, just on the road. I got the opportunity to interview with Fleet Force Truck Driving School, where I've currently been for the last few years. An amazing company. And they've really given me the open door turnkey solution to what I really want, which was to teach a little bit.
Yeah. Talk to me more about that.
So I started out, I was working on the track, grinding all day, every day, back and forth. Here you go. Right. And then one day, one of the guys who did the classroom for the theory instruction was out. And being who I am, I was like, I'm in, I'll do it. Nobody else really wanted to do it. I feel like it's kind of the ability to talk to a stranger and you could play it off, right? So basically, I ran with it. They gave me the key, I turned it, and it really was my niche. I found what I like to do, and then it got me out of the sun.
Then I got you out of the sun. Also important. So talk to me a little bit about, what Fleet Force Driving School exactly is. Because, the name Fleet Force Driving, talk to me a little bit about, what that entails.
So we have some, like a business model that we go by, where we empower the drivers, we strengthen companies, and we build communities, right? When you're a student at Fleet Force, we empower you to take the key and run with it, learn this new endeavor, take it to the fullest. When you start working, you're moving freight for these companies, right? You have all these opportunities, all this money to be made now with the driver shortage. And finally, you're able to, I don't necessarily say want to start your own business, but you're in the driver's seat to do what you need to do financially for your family now or for yourself.
Literally and figuratively in the driver's seat. It was an easy joke. So, okay. So it sounds like, you've got like a CDL training program. You guys do some like trainings outside of that as well, right?
We do a hazmat course, which I do for the company. I'm the only one who does it. So yeah, it's a specialized training that we do probably about once a month.
Interesting. And, I think in previous conversations, we have talked about how you guys are able to leverage kind of existing partnerships to make use of spaces in other colleges. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Oh, that's a great topic. I love talking about this. So my boss basically is, dude, a huge thinker, right? So he's always seeing the bigger picture than the rest of us see, even though we think we see the big picture, right? So he found a way to utilize space that would otherwise be not used unless we had come to them and said, hey, we can take your existing parking lot that's just sitting there, unoccupied, not doing anything. You're paying for it and everything else. Let's put some trucks on there. I need a small little room to do some theory instruction, and then we'll make it part of the curriculum at the college. Boom. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We went from 4 schools to 10 in the matter of bang, just like that. And we've partnered up with all the state colleges in Florida, and we've got 10 schools. It's state domination right now.
That's fantastic. So is the course a full like semester long? Is it a year-long course?
It's 4 weeks.
4 weeks. That's
About
great.
160 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it, so it sounds like a lot of it is there's a mix between classroom theory, like you said, and then also like being on the pavement.
Right. You spend 1 week, 5 days, 7 to 4. You spend that with me in the classroom. I'm going to teach you. The theory is basically the nuts and bolts of truck driving, all about rules and regulations, all about timekeeping, all about mapping and finding your way, right? Mm-hmm. I teach everybody that. That gives them a core foundation to hit the track. Mm-hmm. They go out on the track, they start learning about the trucks, they start learning how to back it up. When they can become slightly proficient in that, then we take them out on the road in traffic and show them how to drive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I imagine there's a big learning curve for some people going from, possibly small cars to big 18-wheelers, right?
So look, like anything, everybody learns at their own pace, right? So some excel super quick. Maybe they drove a boat trailer, or maybe they carried a camper or something. So backing that up or driving something bigger on the street is not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. Some people come from a Honda Civic, right? In which case 53 feet plus another 15, 20 feet tractor is 70-something feet. You're driving, all of a sudden you become the biggest thing on the road.
Yeah.
It could be a little fright. Could be a little white knuckle.
Yeah. So do you tend to see, and I guess one more question I have, do you have to necessarily partner with Fleet Force at one of the colleges to take part in the courses, or do you do courses outside of the offerings at the colleges?
No, you sign up through the college.
Yeah.
And that's where our school is.
Nice.
A school within a school.
Nice, nice. So do you see a lot of traditional students and non-traditional students as well? Like I imagine people who may be looking for a new career, like a new path, specifically after the pandemic, I'm sure it probably shifted a lot.
It did. The pandemic was a tough time for everybody. Look, the trucking industry has been in dire straits for 2 decades. There's been a driver shortage. So I think that the pandemic really exacerbated the fact that the country really needs drivers. It brought it to the forefront with the supply chain issues. There just simply wasn't enough drivers. We had people retiring, and we weren't fulfilling it with entry-level drivers.
So when you hear people who are debating on getting into the trucking industry, thinking about it, do you have any advice for people who may be looking to, start their career in trucking?
Don't let fear stop you from doing anything, okay? Because right now, trucking is the hottest thing on the planet. I mean, people are making more money than they've ever made in this industry before.
Mm-hmm. 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 So talk to me a little bit more, about, how the business has been able to grow and scale. Like you talked about, you've got your great boss who's been, very thought forward, finding all of these different, opportunities within businesses. I imagine that's going to be really interesting for you, kind of watching the company grow in that sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The American Trucking Association estimates we're about 160,000 drivers short.
Wow.
So they're looking to have at least a minimum of 160,000 drivers within the next 10 years. Otherwise, we're still short.
That's crazy.
This company not this company, but this country needs drivers.
Would you say that's the most significant misconception about the trucking industry right now, is that people think there's not as big of a shortage as there actually is?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that people in general don't know about something unless it's on the front page of the news channel or the front page of the paper. But you only have to go to the grocery store and see that things aren't on the shelf to realize that there's just not enough people to move the freight. If there was enough people to move the freight, there would be no supply chain.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, people may not necessarily see that that's the direct result of it, that it's necessarily the trucking. They may just assume, because I think it's been in the more of the forefront, that there's more of like a service shortage or like those workers, not necessarily the truckers. Am I right in that?
You're right. You're right. I think the pandemic had a lot of people lose their jobs due to the fact that companies were having to close down to keep people at home, keep people safe, and everything like that. And I don't think that it's 100% bounce back. Yeah, I think that it's coming, but I don't think 100%, because you still go out to a restaurant and there's still open tables, and you scratch your head and you say, well, why am I waiting here? There's open tables. Well, how about they don't have enough servers to service the people that want to come in, so there's still empty tables. That's a big part of it.
Yeah. Do you hear a lot of other misconceptions in the industry?
I hear a lot of things throughout the industry.
Yeah.
It's not a driver shortage. It's not, and that's just somebody speaking where they have just no idea. You know what I mean? They have no idea what they're really saying. They're just kind of saying it to fill space, this and that. I feel that until we get more entry-level drivers, the drivers that are out there are going to continue to retire, continue to move on and say, all right, now it's time to be with my family. I've been out here for 20 years, right? It's going to continue to happen. So the shortage, until we get people on board, is going to continue to happen over the years. It's just, and it could get worse. Who knows?
So talk to me, what is Fleet Force doing to combat that? How are you guys looking to pull more people into the industry?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Look, this is a opportunity to take the guy, because where can you go in 4 weeks, get a certificate, have a job lined up for you, and you're making $70,000, $80,000. It just doesn't happen. It takes 6 months to a year to get into a specialized thing, HVAC or whatever you want to say. And this enables you to see the country, right? And it's not only over-the-road truck driving. It opens the door to waste management. It opens the door to cement. It opens the door to dump trucks. I mean, all those things are local jobs. So it helps the economy in the local aspect as well.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's great. Well, Howard, this has been a great conversation. As we start to kind of wrap up here, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with?
Check out my YouTube channel. Well, Fleet Force Truck Driving School has its YouTube channel, and I have a series that's on there. It's called the Geller Theory, and it basically talks about the ELDT, the entry-level driver training. It talks about different things that you want to do in trucking and different things that you need to know. And we're looking to try to boost that, at least have more people seeing it. We do pre-trip inspections on there. We do meet the staff on there, all that good stuff. And we're hoping to have Right For Me work with us as well, from what I understand.
I love that. The Geller Theory.
That's what it's called.
That's fantastic. Well, Howard, this has been a great conversation. I appreciate, you breaking down, the trends that you've seen in the industry, the changes, really how Fleet Force is working to combat the driver shortage, pulling in, new people into the industry, from all different ages. I think this was a great conversation, and I appreciate you being on Business Ninjas today.
Thank you for having me.